This
Yeah.
woman has got a beautiful outfit on. She's dressed, and the guy has got a pullover sweatshirt. And I'm thinking, wow, man, you showed up to a date dressed like that. And I'm seeing that more and more and more. So are we getting are we getting lazy? I mean, where are we going with that?
To be fair, in the 90s, I used to wear extremely loud shirts. And when Al and I had events together, he would goof on me a little bit. He like, you look like a disco ball. But all right. So
Now, today's show is absolutely up our alley. It's about styling. We have a very special guest, which is, I would say that at least in this country, most men are challenged by fashion. I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. And we have Alex Gonzalez. Alex, well, he's got to be a great guy. He's got the name Al in his name. So come on.
That's right. Big Al.
Exactly. So Alex can dress the best of the best, which is great. Now, the ladies listening to the show today, pay attention too, because there's a lot of men, and I don't know why, and this is the first question I'm going to ask Alex, is there's so many different ways of learning how to dress better. And to me, you correct me if I'm wrong, the very first thing that you tell the world when you step out, regardless how casual or how well-dressed you are, you're telling the world about you. So, Alex, why are men so challenged?
You know, I think the challenge, stems from kind of the culture that has developed and has been emphasized since COVID. Just noticing it, from my company's standpoint, the trend, especially here in my state of Florida, but I think it's kind of representative of the entire country, where the requirement to dress up for work, which normally was a requirement, suit and tie at the very, at least a suit, usually suit and tie was just the baseline standard. But the work from home kind of, culture and just, the idea that stemmed from COVID, where just, people were sitting at home. They didn't need to dress up in a suit.
It's comfort over style.
100%. And, I think it actually it was starting that way before COVID. And I think COVID really kind of hammered it home.
I like how you were politically correct about saying people are just lazy. They don't want to spend any time.
I'll
say it for you. Don't worry about it.
That's that's kind of it. Is like a little bit of laziness and a little bit of just the path of least resistance, if you will.
You know, Alex, I'll tell you, you just mentioned something about Florida, and we spend a lot of time, my wife and I, down there, and obviously the weather, like we're up in New York, so we go back and forth, a lot. And in New York, even in the middle of summer, you could throw on a beautiful blazer with some jeans and go out and you're styling at night if you're going out to dinner, unless it's unbearably hot. But in Florida, and I do this all the time, and my wife will say, you can't wear that down there. And what she's saying you can is I always bring one or two blazers because you don't know where you're going to wind up in what restaurant or whatever it is.
Of course.
And there's just about, you want to walk in, you just want to be styling. But the fact is, when I do go down there, even the nicest places, I hardly ever see men wear a blazer somewhere because it's too hot.
Yes.
And that's so what do you do in that case?
Right. And that's a common question and common, really within my company too, my coworkers and my colleagues that are in the northern states and offices, the big cities like New York, Washington, DC, Baltimore, they give us a lot of kudos because they're kind of wondering if you're not selling suits, which is our main product. We have a massive product line.
Well, what is the name of, first of all, what's the name of your company, Alex?
Oh, sorry. Yes, the name of my company is Tom James. Tom James Custom Clothing. Tom James Custom Clothiers.
Okay.
We were founded in 1966 in Nashville, Tennessee, and
Wow.
we started out as just like the suit guys for men that would mobile tailors and haberdashers, if you will. We've since expanded into women's clothing. So I do actually help out with women as well.
Oh, okay. So, Al, is your clothing bespoke or is it off the rack?
It's well, both. The majority and the I'd say the biggest benefit from our business is going to be in our custom clothing and bespoke clothing. Yes, but we do offer ready-made, off-the-rack options should you need stuff. Really, for our clients who need stuff in a pinch or when price tends to be a bigger factor.
Yeah.
But the majority of our business comes from our custom clothing side, bespoke.
My brothers and sisters in the Hispanic community love to wear super tight jeans and super tight clothes, and we look like a bad tamale wrapped up. How tactful are you transitioning us from that type of horrendous styling into actually
he said it.
Nice.
I did not. Lewis said
no,
it.
I'll go ahead and say.
No, that's valid because part of what we do is we call ourselves clothiers, wardrobe consultants. And sometimes you just got to be honest with your clients, and that's how you really form those good relationships and trust. I always make the joke that the client, Mr. Client, you've got 2 votes, I've got 1. I'll say my piece, but you're allowed to get whatever it is that you want. But that kind of transitions you from being just strictly an order taker, which is someone you probably meet at a store, versus hiring a consultant, if you will. And we're not paid any consultant fees. You only have to pay for the items that you receive or are paying for, your clothing that you're buying, essentially.
Yeah. Alex, Lewis and I had a conversation about this, about, well, look, you go to an expert to educate you, and that's how you learn. Especially if you think, you know what, maybe there are some people, men especially, that maybe I need a refresher. So let me go to someone as quality as where you're working. They're going to tell you only now what people are wearing, but what you should not be wearing anymore. And I wonder, especially if men get to a point where, and I've said this to Lewis all the time, women, when they go out on a date, most of the time when you look at someone else at a table and you can see it's a date, the women have taken time to look good. And it's guys are like, I'll just pull this and pull this. And I never understood that mentality because Lewis and I, when we worked together in New York, we were never like that. I've been in Florida several times. I was telling Lewis that this woman has got a beautiful outfit on. She's dressed. And the guy has got a pullover sweatshirt. And I'm thinking, wow, man, you showed up to a date dressed like that. And I'm seeing that more and more and more. So are we getting are we getting lazy? I mean, where are we going with that?
I think there's this idea that like dressing really nice and dressing well gives off this impression that you are either trying too hard or are not humble, or you're trying to portray to others that you are not trying to showcase how successful you are and being boastful, if you will.
You know what my answer to that is? BS. Yeah. To me, that's like, I want to look good, not for you. I want to look good because it makes me feel good when I walk out. And
Deion Sanders, man.
Yeah. Wow,
it's
man.
Real.
It's so that means you should not buy that. You should not buy that great car because you're boasting. It's like, what?
Exactly.
It's like, I'm buying that car for me. I'm buying that jacket for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is a line where people can be a little bit over the top, but in reality, it's just like, you can look sharp without being gaudy, if you will.
So for people listening and watching to us, a lot of people will say, well, I'm not a millionaire. I how can I go that route? For your clientele that have that type of mentality, what is your approach? Like, hey, listen, every day you're a 9 to 5, or you're going in, you got to knock it out in your office. This is the route to go with, like somebody like yourself.
Yes. Yeah. So, that's a good question because it's the common trope, it's dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. But you don't have to spend a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
to dress well. That I think is a common misconception too. Because with my clothing, it's definitely a luxury and it's expensive and it's higher end. I will never sugarcoat that. But for people that are looking for advice in how, I'm not a millionaire, I can't afford that kind of stuff. It's no. You just need stuff that fits you well. Something that fits you well goes so much further than the quality of the cloth or the label that's on it. So starting there with just having a good fit, which doesn't necessarily require a lot of extra spending. Knowing your sizes, going with what is realistically your size, and not trying too hard to go in any certain direction. And then using a local tailor. Local tailors and alterations aren't quite as expensive as you might think. I don't know if people would think they're expensive.
Yeah.
But having, just like a good foundation of wardrobe or pieces in your wardrobe that just fit you well.
What are the basics from A to Z that a guy should have in his wardrobe?
I mean, to start out, like every man needs one good suit in his closet.
Yeah.
Now, I would say at least 4 good suits in their closet if you're, a working professional. Now, if you're, just coming right out of college, at least one good suit in your closet at the bare minimum. Now, that color, I recommend navy color, navy suit.
Navy, okay.
Navy to start out, charcoal gray, something in the gray family. So either charcoal gray or a light gray to medium gray would be that good secondary. A black suit for weddings and funerals or any sort of formal occasion that may pop up. Wearing a black suit to a black tie affair is totally acceptable. Generally, people are wearing tuxedos, dinner jackets, things of that nature, but a black suit will be suitable. No pun intended. And then lastly, in terms of suits, something in like the tan realm, I think would be a good safe option for something on the warmer side, kind of matching the occasion if it's like a summery kind of occasion. But that could also be replaced with the light gray suit. So those are kind of interchangeable. So those kind of 4 suits right there would be a good place to start. Dress shirts, whites and blues. You cannot have enough whites and blues in your closet. If you want a little bit of texture, a little bit of pattern, that's completely up to the individual. But something in those patterns, you don't have to think about what they're going to go with.
Right.
They go with everything. Don't even question it. If you wanted to sprinkle in a couple extra, something in the light pink, almost like very soft salmon, and then lavender, light lavender. Good kind of like secondary options, but whites and blues cannot go wrong.
There's a channel on YouTube that my wife and I watch on a regular basis, because if there's one place in the entire world that dresses head and shoulders above everybody, is Milan, Italy.
Yes.
They're a fashion capital
of the world.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's been for such generations that we'll have a cup of coffee and just sit. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you to watch this. It's called, I think the channel is called Milan on Trend. And they go into the areas where the stores are and people are shopping or people are going to lunch, whatever it is. And from the most casual to the most dressed, they just stand on a corner and tape these people. It is amazing. The message is, we just don't go out. We're proud of what we do. And I'm telling you now, it's fashion. Some of the outfits are, I wouldn't wear that. But
each their own.
It's a fashion statement. Yeah. And so I would tell anybody, watch these channels that come out of Milan.
For some other people that'll be listening or watching us, that have an urban lifestyle, that have a sporty lifestyle, or they're just nonchalant about stuff, what would you recommend them to guide them to come to somebody like you to be like, hey, just because you live a certain way or your business is a certain way doesn't mean you got to look like a slob or like your pants down to your ankles and stuff like that.
I will say that there is this trend. I think we are noticing, and I'm noticing that nowadays, we've had that phase where people were just so casual on the day to day that it's like, all right, you know what? I want to dress up because I want to look nice and I want to just give an effort. And we swayed so far to where people were wearing flip flops and shorts to an attorney's office.
Yes.
So I guess to answer your question, it's like, all right, well, you're allowed to, if you live like an athletic lifestyle and you're very casual on the weekends, you're just, all you do is hang out with your kids and you're staying at home. That's fine. Wear what you want, wear what you're comfortable with. But the second that you kind of are, putting yourself even just slightly out there, going to dinners, any sort of event, anyone that says that they're not attending any event or don't have anything on their calendar is probably lying to you. There's always something coming up in the year. You want to show up for your family and you want to show up for yourself. So, just at least putting in that effort.
So now people are watching, they're listening. How do they get a hold of Alex Gonzalez? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, my number is plastered all over the internet. If you Google my name, Alex Gonzalez and Tom James, you can search Tom James Orlando, but you should be able to find me.
Okay.
My cell phone number, I love getting random phone calls and texts from people, contrary to what most people feel like. My cell number, 321-408-8837. I do a lot of my business via the phone.
Guys down here that like the flamingos and very loud colors, like our Miami friends.
Yes.
How do we go around that?
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. To be fair, in the 90s, I used to wear extremely loud shirts. And when Al and I had events together, he would goof on me a little bit. You look like a disco ball. But all right. So for some of us that are a little bit on the louder side, how do we go about that?
That's a good way to put it. On the
totally
side.
Fine. But in Miami, that is 100% the culture. So like in Florida, Miami definitely cares about how they dress, and they tend to dress on the louder side, just the culture down there. So you just have to be a little bit, working with the clothier is all the more helpful, because it's like, I have someone to bounce ideas off of. It's like, all right, well, the flamingos are me, man. I want to rock them. All right, you have 2 votes, Mr. Client. I have 1. I don't think it's a good idea, but you outrank me, so you go ahead. I won't stop you. I won't say no.
Well, I'll tell you, I got to tell you something, Alex. I've sat opposite guys. I've sat opposite guys that had shirts that were so loud, you can hear them walking into the store rather than see them walking into the store. And